morning, Snow.
Good morning, ladies, today.
Good, good. How are you, sweetheart? You look gorgeous.
Thank you. I miss you, ladies.
Nice necklace. Ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh.
Oop, oop.
All right, I need to transfer this to a different screen because I don't see you all. I'm going to do this.
So what is going
right.
on? What is new? Tell me, what's going on? It's Friday.
It is Friday.
Who cares? Who feels the same? It's like usually, I just talked to Lena about this. Usually we go on the road, we teach, we travel, but then we always come back and we have a few days to ourselves. Lately, I have no day. I just consistently work. It's getting tiring.
I completely feel the same. I go from teaching to mommy, to wife, to, I don't know, cleaning lady, then back to teaching, and I feel like I don't have any time for myself at all.
I agree. But on the good news, I hear lots of studios reopened, and I hope that this whole spook is gonna move past us soon. I'm this positive person. I'm like, shush, shush, shush. Go away.
Well, National Studios opened up, and they're actually having a first showcase next Friday.
Oh my God! Yes.
How are they
in LA?
I think they're having a showcase at the studio, so it allows them to have a certain amount of people, and we don't really have a social distancing anymore. So
Nice. All right.
Yeah, we're still in LA.
Well, that's why I moved here, because things are a little bit different here.
All right. I see Lisa there. Yay. We're going to do official introduction first. Babette, would you like to do the honors?
Oh, I would love to, because I'm just a little bit starstruck here, because she was one of my favorite actresses in one of my favorite movies. Ladies and gentlemen, here she is, Lisa Ann Walters, and she has a list of achievements, and I just can name a very few here. She's an actress, producer, and writer here in Los Angeles. You will probably know her if you have seen The Parent Trap, Bruce Almighty. First and foremost, you know her in our scene from Shall We Dance. She was the one who danced with Richard Gere. Also, she was in War of Worlds, and she produced and created a show called Dance Your Ass Off. So, I mean, the list is long. I also know she has a famous Christmas party that I was one time at, and it was a blast. Ladies and gentlemen, Lisa Ann Walter. Here we go.
Hi, thank you. Did I pop up too soon?
This was the perfect timing.
I love seeing all of my favorite people. I love seeing, I haven't seen Snow in person in the longest time, but full disclosure, Elena and Snow are specifically, just because I know their family so well, have been in my life for, my gosh, almost, are we going to say almost 20 years, Snow?
I have to say probably yes.
Yes.
I mean, can you believe this?
We shot Shall We Dance in 2003, where I met your brother-in-law, Nick Kosovich, who Dance World will know is married to not only, they're both wonderful, incredible, smooth champions, American Smooth Champions, but own the company Lanique and are incredible. I mean, Lena's an incredible designer, and they worked on my dance show on Dance Your Ass Off, which was a dance weight loss show on Oxygen. So, and we've gone to parties together, and I felt so my necklace is loud, sorry. I got dressed up for you guys this morning. Can you see that?
Yes.
Yeah, you look beautiful. We didn't get a chance to say that. And this is what we do. We actually get together on Monday and Friday, and we, at least not to forget, how to do makeup and hair.
You know what? When you're used to at least being out in the world, feeling like your best self, Babette knows this. If you're feeling like your best self and you're putting, your style is so beautiful and specific. If I ever felt like I could pull off ballet pink in my wardrobe, I would be so trying to copy your style. But when you're used to getting beautiful, even if it's to go to dance class and you want to zhuzh yourself a little bit and because you want to move your skirt, right? To if you're doing Latin and you want a skirt that moves, but when you're used to getting pretty and then you're on lockdown for months and months and you're like, I'll just stay in the same sweatpants for a week.
It's fun though. For a week I had a blast, but after 2 weeks, and so thank God I have pink sweatpants, so it doesn't last a thing. But
I feel like if I put on a bra, I've won the day.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I get it.
The same for me. Otherwise, I stay in sports bras. Lisa, how's your boys?
Thank you for asking, sweetheart. So as you guys, my friends here who know me know that I have a million children. I should live in a shoe. The two older ones are living separately. One is in New Jersey, my daughter, because she's getting her master's degree. When this all hit, she was on the East Coast in school in New York City. And I'm like, get out of town. I don't give you many rules, but this one is leave. So she and her boyfriend, they did all the classes online and they went to his mother's house in Connecticut. And my oldest son is a music writer and producer and he lives downtown LA with his girlfriend. The twins, my identical twins that Snow's talking about, who were weirdly born on the same day as the twin characters in The Parent Trap, October 11th.
Oh my God.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
That's crazy.
I told Nancy Myers, who directed it, that she'd put a wuju magic spell on me. But they're living here with me and I'm feeding them 3 meals a day. I'm cooking my ass off. That's going to be my next show. I'm cooking my ass off and like baking
How's your kitchen dishes?
How my what? Dishes?
Kitchen dishes, because my boys are very little right now and the dishes don't seem to disappear.
No, I think they think it's magic. Like you go in the kitchen, and I know, Snow, you like to cook with your husband and you're vegan, right? And he's vegan.
Absolutely, we're still vegan and our child is vegan, yeah.
So my oldest son is vegan and he's kind of been after me to do it, both for like ideology and for health reasons. And in the last month, we went vegan in this house. And it was, I have to tell you guys, part of the reason is I put on the Quarantine 15. I'm not standing up to show you. I look like I did as Bobby in Shall We Dance. I have like the ass that took over the world right now. And there's a dance class. So I walk the hill every day, but I just have watched myself become this person where I'm like, I don't know what this figure is. What are you trying to do, fat ass Lisa? Like, you at least usually have a waist. But in my head, I hear Snow's voice going, she is fat. And I just hear a Russian judgment. So
which is very harsh, right? Bam.
You should work out with me 3 times a week for free.
Yes.
I will from now on, because that's one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about, with people not having their dance class outlet. But I feel like when I was watching the news, I got so worried about the regulations on the meat. And as a mom, you both know this, you guys. You don't have kids, do you?
I don't.
But she has plenty of pets. They like kids. Right,
exactly. So, but you worry about what they're putting in their body. And when I saw what was happening with the meat packers and the fact they were rolling back regulations, I thought, you know what? For right now, I don't want to put any of this in our bodies. I would like for us to be safer. So I just said, here's what we're going to do. On Monday, we're going to do meat substitute Monday. Tuesday is Taco Tuesday. We're having beans. Wednesday is like, I made a day. Every day was a different kind of pasta on Friday. And we're going with it.
But there's so many great products out there, because I just don't like to eat animals. I do eat fish, but I personally like to pet them. I don't like to eat them. But nowadays there are so many great products. Like if you buy sausages like Beyond Meat or whatever there is, it tastes really good. So if you have a meat craving for me, it completely does it. So in our household, we are all vegetarian. We're not vegan. We do eat our eggs and cheese, but at least vegetarian, or pescarian, at least you can call it. But yeah, I agree with you 100%.
Well, I have plenty of recipes if you guys want it. And my husband loves talking about it, but it's absolutely the opposite show from what we have going on right now.
All right,
I would love to ask you, how was your experience and shooting a dance movie?
Oh my gosh. Well, I have to tell you, when people say like, what was your favorite project? I think they expect me to say The Parent Trap, which I loved, and I feel very grateful to be a part of it. It's iconic. People still watch it, generations of people. But when people ask me my favorite, I say Shall We Dance? For lots of reasons. For the fact that I worked with Richard Gere and Stanley Tucci and Jennifer Lopez, who, by the way, her dancing is beyond, because it's so sexy.
Have you danced before when you went in that? Were you a dancer, or was that your first time you really danced?
Well, I will say this. When I was growing up, and that's the other reason I love the experience so much, was that I got, as I tell people, $1 million of dance training in 3 months, because I was taught by the best in the world. I was taught by Charlotta Jorgensen and Tony Dovolani and Nick Kosovich and some of these the teachers that you have to book months in advance. You know, back then they weren't as famous because it was before Dancing with the Stars. So American public didn't know Karina Smirnoff, but Karina, the first week that I went into dance training in New York City, because I booked the job from an audition, like a regular talking audition. And then they said, you're getting called back for a dance audition. And I'll tell you that story in a second because it's really good. But the first week I was in New York for dance training before I met with Richard to dance with him, Karina and Slavik did a demonstration in front of me. I don't think that Stanley Tucci was there yet, but of course I did all the Latin dances with him. So they did a rumba demonstration. And at the end of it, I was like, who is anybody else like feel like having sex right now? Like, it was the hottest thing I had ever seen in my life. And we immediately dove into 8 hours a day of the most strenuous training I've ever had doing anything. And my back was wrecked every day from this pose that I'm like, people don't stand like this. The front of my body's going this way and the side of my body is going this way. And wait, not out, up? What are you talking about? Like, what does up mean? I'm sideways. So the funny thing is that I danced when I was
watched the original Shall We Dance.
What?
Sorry, we're talking over each other, internet connections. I said I watched the original Shall We Dance movie. It was Japanese version and it was hilarious. And I was like, I don't know how people gonna out-top this, because it was so funny. I was rolling on the floor. And when you guys did it, and I know, yes, Richard Gere, Jennifer Lopez, but let me tell you, you and Stanley, you were guys hilarious. You were my two.
Lisa, you were my favorite character.
Yes.
Like, I seriously, like, I could not get over of how many facts in your character was so true. And we face this on a daily basis when we're teaching it in the studio circumstances, and sometimes even virtually. But and it's fantastic how great you. I mean, I know you as a person, but when watching you as that character, how great you mimicked the characteristics of that person.
That type of character. Well, you know, they explained to me. They didn't have to explain it 100%, because when I was a kid growing up in the Washington, D.C. area, it was starting when I was about 13 years old. I would go to downtown. My mother would bring me, and I would do disco competitions, because when I was a kid, this is the very short version of why I created the show Dance Your Ass Off. When I was a kid, I was the chubby one. There was my sister and me. She was always skinny. I was always the one that was, in those days, fat didn't mean 100 pounds more for a kid. It was like 10 pounds more than the other kids. So I was the 10 pounds more kid who loved to eat, you know, bread with sugar and butter on it. And when we went to the Russian ballet teacher, Snow, we went there, my sister, she said, this one can dance. This one too fat. And she like, I couldn't take, Like, how weird is that to think of today, that they would take a kid who wanted to dance? I wanted ballet more than anything. I loved the Nutcracker. We went every year. I loved ballet. And they were like, no, you cannot dance. So as I grew up, I started dancing with my girlfriend who was Colombian, and the older sister was married to a Cuban guy, and all of the cousins would go to her house, and we would do the broom party in the basement, where you take a broom and you throw it, and whoever it lands on, that's who you dance with. And I learned to salsa dance, which is basically disco, with all the Latin guys. And they would yell gringa, and I had this insane hip action, because, you know, ass. And I loved it. And then I started disco dancing with my gay. There were two guys in my school that were out and gay even back then, which was very unusual. And we would go downtown and dance and win contests when I was like 13. So I started teaching at Arthur Murray in Silver Spring.
No way!
I had never taken a dance class. I started teaching. And because in those days, if you were young and cute, I wasn't fat anymore. I was 36, 24, 36, and a teenager.
Like Marilyn Monroe, huh?
Right. And I started teaching, you know, when they had disco back then, the older divorced guys wanted to, like, you know, get their disco on at the club. But you have to teach everything. You know how Arthur Murray is. No, you have to learn, you know, the basics. You have to learn waltz, rumba, foxtrot. You have to learn everything, and disco, or you know, the hustle or whatever. So I learned how to teach it. So I learned the male and the female part, because as a teacher you have to learn the male part. And then they wanted me to go away to dance comps with these students of mine, and my mother was like, nope, can't do it. So I'm 16. So
I was exactly the same when I was 16.
Yeah.
So how did you end up? How did you become an actress? Because your career could have been similar like ours. You could have gone the dance route, but you became.
You know what? I honestly think that the teacher was not wrong. Until Suzanne Farrell started dancing ballet, there were no dancers, there were no ballerinas that had a figure, a curvy Italian, Sicilian peasant body with big boobs and a big butt. It just doesn't exist. You can't, nobody can lift you. So I knew I couldn't dance like that. The world was different back then. They didn't celebrate women of all different shapes and sizes being in a physical profession. You had to have a very specific physical type.
I think at that time, probably. Nowadays, obviously, that's not the case anymore, but I believe you.
Like Alvin Ali Ballet is all about curvy women.
Right.
Nowadays, there's a place for everybody.
Right. So I think that you're right, and the world has changed, but back then, it was not. I mean, I continued to dance for fun, and I always wanted to dance in the shows that I was in, like in high school and the local dinner theater. I was working professionally already as an actress, but I was funny. So they wanted me to be the comedic second lead or the lady. I never got to be in the chorus. I literally would tell the director, just put me in the chorus. I just want to dance. And they were like, no, you're playing the lead. Like,
did you go to acting class, how did you become how did you get into acting? Was that a natural progression?
Yes, I was acting all through school. I was doing dinner theater and local community theater. I went to college at Catholic University of America, which has a very prestigious, you know, nationally known drama department. I was accepted on scholarship, and I went to study acting. Acted professionally in DC, then moved to New York, and immediately with my boyfriend, who I was living with, got pregnant with my oldest. So right out of college, I had a baby. And after that, I said, well, you know what? I can do anything. I made a human. And my girlfriend was doing stand-up at the time. Stand-up was very big back then. It was like the height of the comedy boom. Mm-hmm. And within about a year and a half, I was headlining and as a touring comic. In 7 years, I had developed an act that was geared towards, I was one of the only women in New York. This is not like it is now where there's a ton of female comics. There were like 12. And I was the one that had kids. So I was talking about having kids and being in a long-term relationship. And I got offered a TV show to basically do that character of the woman who's like Roseanne, but a career she wants to do, which is what I wanted the show I wanted to create. So I co-created 2 TV shows, and I started doing movies like, Eddie with Whoopi Goldberg and The Parent Trap, and then Shall We Dance came along. A couple years later, I was just nonstop working. I was doing War of the Worlds and Shall We Dance and a bunch of TV, Nip Tuck, a whole bunch of stuff. And
I want to ask you, and I want to ask you about your new projects, because I know that there's so many things that's coming up, and I just saw the trailer for NSFW. Can you tell us a little bit more about it?
So the show is called Bitter.
Okay.
But the reason I put NSFW is that I didn't want anybody to start playing it out loud around their kids. Like, most people are home right now, so it's not the workplace, but there's language in it. But it's got a great cast. It's got Frances Fisher, who's the mom in Titanic, and Sherry Shepherd, and my girlfriend Rosa Blasi plays my best friend. Stephen, a lot of actors that you know from lots of other stuff, and it's. I
always thought that you should have like a production company, because you have so many great ideas. In many times that we interacted, you always come up like with the show from the spot. You're like, okay, this is what you should be doing, and just seeing your projects come alive, it's like such an amazing.
It's a version of what you do when you're putting together a routine, when you choreograph for people, whether it's people that are pros or people like you were talking about, the character that but the writers based Bobby off of. And yes, the original Japanese Elena was a beautiful movie, but completely different in that was about their cultural adversity to showing emotion. And we don't have that in America. People are emoting all over the frickin' place. But that character of Bobby is somebody who loves dance so much, and it makes her feel for that moment like a princess, like first of all, dancing with somebody who looks like Richard Gere. The first day they put me up next to him, I said hello, and then in the next second, I was from, boob to crotch, slapped up against with our dance point of contact. I was like, I was sweating. I was so nervous, because here's this guy that I grew up, like I said, he said, he said, relax, you've got the job. I said, I'm dancing with my entire body smashed up against Officer and a Gigolo. Oh, and by the way, I've got an ass that ate Tokyo, because they didn't have to put on weight for the character. And I know I knew these women. I knew who they were, and I felt it very deeply, because I will tell you this, and this is true. How I watched you people dance, how I watched people who were pros. Katya Vershalis was one of our dancers. She's in London now on the Dancing with the Stars version over there. How I watched you people work with us, and the love and passion, and Tony made me cry every day we worked, every day, because they told him she has to be pro level, because she can't count on Richard to lead and dance. So she has to lead herself, basically, but without
lead him.
Say again.
No, you have to back lead.
Yeah, so I had to lead, but without leading, because that would ruin it, as you know.
Dancer, let's talk about Richard Gere for a second. How was he to dance with? Is he like, how did he do with this?
Okay, so they kept saying, you have to be pro level, you have to be pro level. Tony makes me cry. I'm like, how can I do it without leading? I'm leading, but not I can't. And then, golly, what was his name? The one that has the studio up in, what was his name? Two F's. Flamiano.
Francesco
You know what?
Flumiani, you mean? Francesco Flumiani? Yes.
Yes. So he would dance with me for standard sometimes, right? If Nick wasn't available or whoever, he would be my standard partner. And if I did a little pullback, he would be like, Siciliana, the bull, you are a bull. And he'd yell at me.
I know Francesco. I can see him. He's so funny. My God.
It would make me laugh, but he wasn't wrong. It was me wanting to do well. But the main thing that I learned and that the character learned, so the arc was both for myself as the actor trying to dance and as that dancer trying to feel beautiful and loved, was that pushing, being in control all the time doesn't win. And that the woman on the dance floor, I told Tom Cruise this is a funny story. Tom Cruise, after seeing Shall We Dance, wanted me for War of the Worlds. And what he did when we met was show me, he goes, Lisa, look, I'm starting to take dance lessons. And when we were on the red carpet for War of the Worlds, he was with Katie at the time, Katie Holmes, and he grabbed her and goes, look what I've learned. And what I told him on the red carpet and her was, he's in charge on the dance floor. He's in charge. And if this is the only part of your life where this is true, it's true here. He is in charge. Let him lead. And not that you don't have a brain, but that you have to trust him to take care of you.
Well, I think it's my job to be elegant, right? And that's what we should be focusing on, to be a jewel inside of somebody's beautiful frame.
Yes, that's a line from the movie. You are the picture in the frame. And for me to feel that when we were shooting the waltz number with Richard, and I turned around and looked at him and I went, I'm dancing with Richard Gere in a movie. That look that you see on my face, the smile is genuine, because when I auditioned for the dance part, they said, this is the truth. They said, they want to see you Friday to dance. And I said, tell them you can't find me. That I'm out of town and that I'll see them Monday. Or you'll reach out Monday. And my reps were like, well, what if you lose it? I said, then I lose it Monday. And I spent an entire weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 6 hours every day, learning, brushing up on all of my skills from Arthur Murray, including learning a quick step pass, basic, which was exactly what they used for the audition.
Awesome.
So when I had to do the audition, I was like, I know this.
Oh, good.
Take off, do the run, the whole thing. So that when, I'll bring up a name that means something different now, but Harvey Weinstein was the one looking at the tapes, and it was all the big actresses, all the famous actresses. And they got to me and he said, she's the one. Look at her, she loves it. Look at the smile. She's having the time. Everybody else was like, what am I doing? And I was having the time of my life. And I think that is what dance is. And I swear I'll land the plane. This lockdown has done a lot of things to all of us, right? We're worried about our jobs or our kids, or kids aren't graduating, or there's so much that's going on. I'll tell you what it did for me. I kept putting off going to dance class for real, because I loved it when I was doing it, but my skills have cratered. The idea to me of being back in the world is not going to dinner. It's not finding a guy and having sex. None of that. It's being in somebody's arms and dancing, going somewhere and having someone lead me and dancing. That's the only thing I want. And I'm not even kidding. That's the truth. That's the only thing I'm looking forward to.
I get it, like totally get it. So what we do each time when we have a guest, we have actually a quiz for you. So it should be a fun thing and it should go really fast. So we have 10 questions for you and we want you to not give it a lot of thought. Just say whatever comes top of mind first. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
So today it's me, my honors to do a quiz. Okay. Good. Describe yourself in 3 words.
Loud, funny, nurturing.
What's your favorite body part?
My boobs.
We knew that. Okay. What drives you absolutely crazy?
What is the question? What drives me absolutely crazy?
Yes.
What people do that drives you absolutely crazy?
Oh, what do people do that drives me absolutely crazy? I tend to be forgiving. What is it? I hate when they bite their fork when they eat. You know, people who bite their fork, like when the fork goes in the mouth, they bite, and you hear the metal. I'm always like, don't bite your fork.
All right. If you could time travel, where and when would you go?
Can I be in Outlander and go back and hang out with Jamie Fraser? But it has to be Sam Heughan as Jamie Fraser.
Perfect. We'll take it.
In a kilt. I like the kilt. It's
Okay.
either that or honestly, here's answer B. I would love to go back to like the 20s during the flapper era because it looks like everybody was out having a blast. I think I would have been a good flapper.
All right. So if you would shop for free just in one store, which store would you choose?
Oh God, I mean, I don't want to be boring and say Macy's. Like Bloomingdale's. Like I would go to the New York Bloomingdale's between 59th and 60th Street.
Perfect.
And I would spend 4 days. Half of it in the makeup
Just
section.
come in and say, pack everything.
Yeah.
All right. What would be your dream vacation?
Dream vacation?
Vacation.
Can I go to like a place and it's a dance like conservatory? Can I do that? Like go to a beautiful place? Like what location?
Dance camp.
Dance camp. I want to go to dance camp, but in some place really beautiful like the south of France.
Okay.
Nice.
Perfect. That's what I want to do. I want to open up a retreat center so you can come at any time.
Thank you. I'm there.
All right.
I'll cook. Snow, I'll cook.
Ah, nice. Okay, what is your useless talent?
That's my useless talent. I'm a trivia fanatic. I know so much useless information. I'm the queen of useless information. Like somebody will bring up like an article, you know, something that was used in history, and I'm like, oh, I'll tell you all about that thing. That was invented because blah blah blah, and people are like, I didn't want to know.
Wikipedia. Seriously, I know you as a Wikipedia.
Yeah, thank you. I'm Lisapedia.
Wikipedia. I love that.
Yeah, I like that even better. Okay, what is your guilty pleasure?
Oh boy, cake. Like I literally eat it and then feel guilty. But if it's like what I'm watching, that's my guilty pleasure. 90 Day Fiance. Holy mother, I can't stop. I'm obsessed.
All right, what is your favorite cocktail?
I've been sober 16 years, but I will tell you the drink that I invented when we were on location in to do Shall We Dance. So we all stayed at one hotel, and it was like the bar was ground central for all the dancers, all the actors. We went there every day after rehearsal, and they let us keep the bar open late, even after they closed, because we were eating all our food and drinks there. And I invented this drink called the Pink Kiss. And it was lemon, like citron vodka, Chambord, a drop of cranberry so it looked pink, and a sugar rim and a twist. Delish.
Totally sounds like Babette's drink.
Yes, I was thinking that's like, I'll have one.
I'll text it to you, Babette.
Perfect.
All right, and the last question. Who is your favorite actress?
My favorite actress?
Yes.
Right now, probably Cate Blanchett. And historically, although I like Emma Stone too, but let's go with Cate Blanchett. And historically, I loved Marilyn, but I would say probably, oh God, Katharine Hepburn. There's so many that I love from through the years. There's so many.
I think you would play like a great Marilyn, like in a comedy. No one's done that. You should totally create the script for that.
Okay, I'll write that. In between all the other things I'm doing, I'll write that.
By the way, you never answered my question. What is this that you're up to?
Okay, so this was something that I shot a while ago, but because we're all on lockdown and nothing is going into production for a while, I said, you know what? I talked to Sherry Shepherd and the other stars in it, and I said, let's share it. And everybody it's called Bitter. It's a comedy, and it is starring my actual friends. Sherry Shepherd plays my boss at a magazine that has turned into like a clickbait online, like HuffPost kind of thing, but like low rent stuff. So the character used to have a job as a writer. She's got kids. She went through a divorce. French Stewart plays my ex-husband. It's based loosely on my life and on Sherry's life of being mothers of boys and what it's like to raise crazy teenage boys. And it's called Bitter. And it's about smashing all those ageism, sexism, racism, the patriarchy, and trying to live your best life. But it's really true.
I can't wait to watch it. I just watched the trailer and it sounds so intriguing. It's so funny too.
Well, all these people write shows about divorce, and I'm like, who are these people that they've got? Because that doesn't look like anybody I know. That's not what our life looks like. And I said, I want to do the real one. So I made it. I wrote it. It was produced, and it exists. And now that everything's going to streaming, we're looking to see about doing that. But of course, I've written some other stuff in the meantime, done some unscripted.
Now it's a great time for you to open up your production. Just whole production virtually, and just throwing all your ideas and casting people and doing everything that you ever dreamed of.
I love that, though. I'm going to do that. But now first we have to get the investors.
That's it. We're going to plug for you. We need investors for all of the amazing ideas that Lisa's got on the shelf. I know that you have so many.
Lisa, before we get cut off, because we have such a little time left, where is it going to be streaming? Like, it's going to have their own website or Amazon?
We don't have a home for it yet. That's where we're at now, is trying to find the home for it. One of the issues that's going on right now with the lockdown is that a lot of the companies are not, if they have shows that are already going, they'll maybe renew that, but it's very difficult for them to see when we can be in production because we can't yet. We don't have time.
This is why you should do your own channel, subscribe for all of the Lisa projects.
I love it. So should we call it the Lisa? I feel like at this point we should call it the Snow Channel, because it's your brainchild. I always wanted to do a destination, like a streaming channel called like the Chick Channel or something like that, so that it's all women will know, oh, I can go there to get talk like this show, or scripted content that they can relate to, stuff that we would like.
Yeah, that's amazing. Before we get disconnected, what is the best advice you ever gotten?
Oh my goodness, we're still gonna get disconnected. We have less than a minute.
I'll tell you what it is. I was doing a show, and the guy in charge said to me, why are you trying to be so serious? Do you think you're funny? And I said, yeah. He goes, do you think you're sexy? I said, yeah. He goes, you're funny, you're sexy. Use everything you've got, always. Use it all.
Nice.
That's great advice.
Lisa, thank you so much for being here. We love you, and we
have to have you back. We have to chat more.
Yes.
Yes, I'd love to come back. I'm so happy you're doing this. Best of luck to you, ladies, and all you dancers out there. Thank you for letting me play with you ever. I love you.
Thank you for coming.
You so much.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao.
Have a good day.
You too. Bye, everybody.